Before we get started with today's video, I just wanted to throw in a quick apology to everyone. I just bought a new Apollo Twin audio interface and decided to unhook my old one so I could hook the new one up yesterday. I'm missing a little $50 cable that's going to make it compatible with my MacBook. So for that reason, I have no microphone plugged in and therefore have no professional sounding sound today. That being said, let's get after it. Dang, I hope they all made it. How in the world did they convince that many men to stay on the roof during a tornado warning? This is 2025. These tornadoes don't just pop up out of nowhere anymore. We see them coming. There ain't no amount of money that would be able to keep me on that roof during a tornado.
This video comes from Anna Tan, who's the mother of a baby girl named Evelyn. It was only a few months ago that Anna's brother passed away. His passing has been very painful for Anna, considering how close he was to her and her daughter. Although tragic, Anna takes comfort in the thought that he still lives on in the afterlife and continues to watch over Evelyn and the rest of her family. One day, Anna and her daughter are in the kitchen when something very strange happens. Anna takes out her phone and begins to record. This is what was captured.
Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to?
No.
Who are you talking to? Evelyn. Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to?
It appears as though Evelyn is talking to someone. Anna is convinced that her baby daughter had been in contact with her deceased uncle. This notion becomes even more believable considering that a male voice is heard early in the video.
Who are you talking?
If you listen closely, the word uncle can be heard. For this reason, including the fact that her daughter kept on repeating uncle over and over.
Who are you talking to?
Anna believes that her brother was present during this recording. Like with most videos though, I'll let you decide whether or not that's the case. All in all, although strange, this video is pretty wholesome.
What do y'all think about this one? I certainly think that little girl was seeing something, but it could literally just be something that she either saw or heard that reminds her of her uncle and makes her think that he's about to walk in. Like maybe a car passed outside that sounded like his vehicle used to sound like when it pulled into the driveway. Kids absolutely see things that we can't see. I'm convinced of that. But they are unfortunately notoriously horrible when it comes to identifying people. I can't tell you how many times my little boy has pointed to someone on TV and asked me, "Is that you?" And the person literally looks nothing like me. They just happen to have a beard. They're just not the best at recognizing faces. Hey, don't forget to click like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my merch store at berry-stepp.com.
They were taking human brain cells.
This box is filled with actual human brain cells.
Oh, and it's also a supercomputer. Australian company Cortical Labs has created the world's first commercial biological computer that uses 800,000 living human neurons, grown from blood samples to form networks that think and learn like a real brain, but using 99% less energy than traditional AI systems. Under a microscope, you can literally watch as these neurons form branches from electrode to electrode, creating ever-evolving pathways for information. In 2022, they proved these living cells could learn independently when they taught the neural network to play Pong by using predictable electrical patterns as rewards and chaotic signals as punishments, something no silicon chip could achieve without explicit programming. What's truly mind-blowing is the built-in life support system with pumps, gas circulation, and temperature controls that keeps these neurons alive for up to 6 months, essentially a miniature artificial body maintaining a partial brain. Researchers believe this technology could revolutionize drug discovery for neurological conditions like Alzheimer's and epilepsy. But this raises profound ethical questions about the boundary between machines and life itself. If we're growing computers with human brain tissue that can learn and adapt, at what point might we cross the line into creating something with consciousness?
And I'm seeing reports that there's some company reporting that they just had their AI pass the Turing test for the first time. I'm still not convinced that it's even possible for us to create a true AI. But if I'm wrong, I think I'm about to find out. I think the biggest ethical question here is not in regards to creating some artificial intelligence that actually runs on human tissue, but that if we create an artificial life form, we can't give it a soul. What will its purpose be? How will it reach fulfillment? Just think of the misery of having that existence and knowing that your life has no meaning. You were just created by someone else to serve a simple function. That sounds like pure misery.
Breaking news, and this video is for entertainment purposes only, TikTok. Hong Kong has said they are stopping all postal service to the United States. What does this mean for the United States? Well, the nurses are saying now that the hospitals could start to close as early as next week. Is y'all listening? The hospitals are saying that they could start to have to shut down as early as next week because they get like 98% of all medical supplies from China. And Hong Kong said there will be no supplies, no shipping, no postal, no nothing to the United States. Do you know what that will do to our infrastructure? We're here now. And if an agreement ain't reached, it's no turning back. If we go 2 weeks without any shipments from China, we screwed. We screwed McDuck. We fricassee, barbecue, filet, flambe. We might well put ourselves in the oven and turn it on rotisserie. I'm trying to tell you. The nurses is in full-blown panic mode. They are stressing the fact without those packages from Hong Kong, their medical supplies, lives could be lost. Infrastructure will go down and hospitals will be forced to close.
I wanted to put this in here to address it. This is fear-mongering. There are no reports right now of any hospitals facing closure over a lack of medical supplies. My wife is a nurse who works for a company that spans multiple states, and they aren't even running low on supplies. I do think that this is a legitimate fear or something to worry about. This absolutely could and probably will happen, and when it does, it's going to have a huge negative impact on our healthcare system. But it's our own fault. Why in the world would we ever get ourselves into a situation where we're getting all of our medical and pharmaceutical supplies from another country? And with all countries to do that with, we set it up with one of our biggest adversaries. We need to be manufacturing this stuff over here. All this really does at this point is force hospitals to order stuff from American suppliers, and I'm good with that.
So tell me, y'all heard about the new pyramid discovery. It says the biggest one in the world, even bigger than the one in Egypt, in Giza. Guess where they found it at? In the Americas, in Guatemala. The biggest pyramid in the world. Let me show you.
They're making fascinating discovery. Let's go to CNN's Brooke Baldwin. She traveled to Mirador and came back with an amazing story. Brooke, tell our viewers what's going on.
Wolf, I think I'm officially an archaeology geek. Our CNN crew, we're the first TV camera actually in the world to shoot the face of what may be the world's largest pyramid by volume. This pyramid, it is covered by the canopy of the jungle. It is currently facing several threats. From the air, it looks like just jungle, but these forests in Guatemala hide an ancient secret. The city of Mirador, often referred to as the cradle of Mayan civilization, the size of a modern-day metropolis. This is no mountain, it's a pyramid, and according to the Mirador Basin Project, it may be the largest pyramid by volume in the world. Here at the top of La Danta, we are 72 meters, or about 224 feet from the forest floor. And when we talk about sheer size of this area that is El Mirador, just one single Mayan city, archaeologist Dr. Richard Hansen says its size is larger than all of downtown Los Angeles, and he says there are still thousands of pyramids yet to be uncovered. Then Dr. Hansen shows us something few people have ever seen, a relic referred to as the Popol Vuh, the Mayan story of creation. Oh my gosh. CNN cameras are the first to capture this fresh discovery, which Hansen says will rewrite Mayan history. But this is the creation story.
This is the creation story, and it goes back to at least 300 to 200 BC.
For decades, historians believe the Popol Vuh was tainted by the Catholic views of Spanish conquistadors. Finding this frieze changes everything because it predates the Spanish arrival by more than a millennium.
Now let me show y'all what all that means in case y'all ain't picking up what they putting down.
They have discovered the oldest 10 Commandments written in Paleo Hebrew on a stone, a huge, I think it's an 80-ton stone, if I'm not mistaken, on the size of that, found in New Mexico, of all places. Now, Paleo Hebrew, guys, has been out of use for some maybe 500 years before the modern era, the coming of Christ. And so for a paleo stone, or excuse me, a stone to be found with paleo, the 10 Commandments of the Paleo Hebrew to be found inside of New Mexico lets us know that there is a lot of truth that, yes, indeed, there is a relationship between the Native Americans and the house of Israel.
The evidence that America was the location for a lot of the stories that took place in the Bible is starting to get overwhelming. A part of me kind of wonders if the big secret that all the governments are keeping from us is that there's actual historical record of when all the continents were put together. Maybe when it split up, it was all inhabited. Maybe that's why we have evidence of civilization being literally everywhere. And that's why we have so many relics from China that match relics from Mexico, that match relics in Europe, that match relics in Asia, and so on and so forth. Maybe that would explain how all these cultures seem to have the same ideas. Maybe they were all neighbors until suddenly one day they weren't.
Come down a little rabbit trail with me. So many people have no idea how important the Tower of Babel is and what it means. The all-seeing eye is the unfinished Tower of Babel mentioned in the Bible. George Washington was a renowned mason. And on the back of our $1 bill is M-A-S-O-N with the all-seeing eye.
Okay.
But you might ask, Ryan, why is that important? Let me show you this.
Pay attention.
The Washington Monument built in his honor is the tallest of its kind in the world. It is 555 feet high.
Okay.
Well, 555 feet times 12 inches is 6,660 inches.
Okay.
But you might ask, why is that important? I really hate to be the one to tell you this if you don't already know that. Nimrod was the one who built the Tower of Babel to go and try to defeat God. Well, Nimrod has 70 different names, whether that's Osiris or Apollo. Anyways, his birthday is December 25th, which is why we celebrate Christmas on December 25th. He's known for having a long beard, reindeer, and a Christmas tree. The Christmas tree represents Nimrod's penis, as it is the only part of his body not found. His wife started the tree tradition and hung balls on it. The garland is wrapped around it to signify a snake. The 5-pointed star at the top represents a pentagram. The whole thing is one big satanic celebration.
It is.
The people of Babylon would make a wish for Moloch, and then they would place their babies to be into the arms of Moloch. And they believed that by offering up their babies to this god on December 25th, they would receive everything they had requested on their wish list in the year to come.
The truth has been revealed to you. Christmas should no longer be celebrated anymore. And for those who do celebrate Christmas, you're worshiping Satan and the sacrifices that he has done to newborn children. And as far as the Christmas tree, you're celebrating a penis with balls on it and a snake and a star that represents a pentagram with symbolisms of something satanic. Nimrod, Merry Christmas. Stop celebrating it.
I know it's a little far off from Christmas for this sort of thing, and I feel like I've put this video in here before, but I have a much different perspective now as a believer. I used to see this stuff as being innocent if you're partaking in it unknowingly. But if all of this tradition really does stem from this stuff, are we not all unknowingly taking part in a massive worldwide satanic ritual? Just imagine what kind of energy we're all putting out as a species when we're all collectively spending that much time decorating and hanging lights for some satanic deity. Maybe this is why the holidays always seem so stressful. Maybe we're being spiritually and emotionally drained somehow. I'm starting to think that we need to look more closely at all of our traditions and see where they really stem from.
Well, now I'm recording like right to TikTok because like it's getting real now. So we're off north of our property a little bit, and we were looking for places that naturally hold water, and we found this like little pond that's like north of an arroyo, and this thing is filled with kids' backpacks.
Like filled with that.
And there's like a mound here, and
there's like a bunch of signs
there's more
of like
backpacks.
wildlife activity,
like if you dig down,
it's like
there's backpacks. There's little kids' backpacks here.
Don't be too loud, sister, please.
Like there are kids' backpacks here. I'm armed, but we found a place out in the middle of the desert north of our property that has bones and boots and
all sorts of
kids' backpacks. Yeah. This is getting really, really weird. You smell that?
What?
Something smells like sweet.
No.
Like it smells like laundry detergent. Do you smell that? And there's like...
Well, you know it smells that sweet like that out in places like out here.
So we just hit a point where we found like our 5th backpack or bag after finding that boot. And yeah, we're done. We're gonna head back to the property. Gonna have to contact somebody about this because one of our neighbors was really, really interested when we found bones on our property. And that guy's been really, really against us having social media. So I think it's... Sorry, we're kind of in shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to figure this out, but we just found a bunch of backpacks and like personal belongings.
Or something, because we're gonna have to look at this later, but
It sounds to me like the cops need to go talk to their neighbor. The guy sounds about as suspicious as you could be. Though to be fair, anyone would be, I would assume, super interested to find out that there's bones found next to their property. And he may have a problem with them having social media because the whole reason he moved out to the country was to get some peace and quiet. Maybe he just doesn't want them attracting a crowd coming out to that area. He'd still be my first suspect, though, just based simply off the way this couple talks about him. Just imagine, though, knowing that there are literal unspeakable horrors going on right outside your home. It would be difficult to lay down and go to sleep at night.
Vampires come from the Nephilim?
Well, vampires are real in the occult. Dracula is a more modern type of the literature that's going to hold the belief system and their history within it. So you have Dracula, for example, as the son of a dragon. It goes back to Greek for drakont and drakonta, which means watcher, as in watcher, angel. It's everywhere. People just don't recognize the links of it. And of course, the giants both before and after the flood, and secret societies probably at the adept level even today would drink blood. And they were drinking blood to extend their life after Genesis 6:3, shortened all lifespan to 120 years. And they also used it secondarily to provide additional cognitive abilities. And so they preyed on humans not only to eat them before the flood, but to drink their blood. And then after the flood, they had to do things a little bit more in secrecy, as they were needing humankind to survive because they had a fertility issue after the flood.
Just assuming that this guy knows what he's talking about and that this is all accurate information, maybe this is where the adrenochrome practice originated from. It would take a seriously sick mind to conjure up the concept of slowing the process of aging via draining blood out of someone younger than you and drinking it. But it may not have originated that way. It may have been an ancient practice carried out by the fallen angels, co-opted by man who wanted to be more like those that they viewed as gods. That makes a lot of sense. There's just no way that we're going to know if this is true or not unless someone decides to stop the cover-up.
Have you heard about the mountain that mysteriously popped out of the ocean last week? And it is the rapidest growing mountain that's ever been on the history of planet Earth. They said that within 7 years, it's going to be taller than Mount Everest. It's growing at a rate of 127 feet per day, which is just astronomical if you ask me. This is it here in the background. You can see that it's quite steep and quite cool. They're calling it Ball's Pyramid because Professor Ball discovered it, and they're keeping the locale super secretive. It's somewhere between New Zealand and Australia, though. You can see that boat there. That's mountaineers. They've gotten wind of it, and they want to be the first to climb to the peak at the top. One mountaineer is trying to get a permit so he can build a little cottage up at the top and always be the first to climb this new tallest mountain when it reaches higher than Mount Everest. It's quite amazing. I asked my cousin who works at PetSmart in the fish section what we know about mountains, and she said typically they don't grow this fast, and they're made out of rock, which is super cool. But this one does have some plantage on it.
I'm glad this guy got those extra added details from his cousin. Otherwise, we wouldn't have known what we were looking at. That little comment there at the end should have been my first clue that this whole thing was satire. But nope. I spent about half an hour digging around on the internet trying to find this thing. I guess I really just put this clip in here to shame myself. I see comments from people from time to time saying that I talk like I think I know everything. When I watch these videos, I actually try to look into this stuff. I'm not just talking off the top of my head, and I have no qualms with anyone knowing how stupid I can be at times. Here's you a good example. This guy got me to waste 30 minutes with a 60-second clip about a fake mountain that's supposedly growing at a rate of 127 feet a day. I should have known better. And I don't think I know everything. In fact, I'm certain that I don't know most things, so I'll look things up.
The fact that the manuscript is written in a way that nobody else could read it.
Talk about some pretty dark stuff. What's the stuff that they couldn't print?
Because of new technologies, new techniques.
Elon Musk just said the Voynich manuscript was never meant to be read because it might not be for humans at all. This strange book has been locked away at Yale for years, and it's unlike anything you've ever seen. What if Musk is right and the book was made to stay unread forever? Come closer, because what's inside this book might not be for us at all. The book that refuses to be understood. Now, before you roll your eyes, hear this. The book has been sitting in Yale's rare books section since the late 1960s. But it wasn't discovered there. A Polish book dealer found it in 1912, thinking he scored something religious or boring. Nope. What he found was straight out of a sci-fi novel. Drawings of made-up plants, naked ladies chilling in green tubs, and star maps that seem like they came from an alien telescope. Before we dive deeper, understand this. The truth behind the Voynich manuscript is far stranger than anyone expected. Nobody has cracked the code in it. The writing, totally made up. Doesn't match any language, alphabet, or code that we know. Linguists, nerds with computers, and even AI have tried.
So the claim here is that that manuscript was not written for humans, and that's why it looks like nonsense to us. The reason I put this in here was because I was looking at the comments section of this video before I downloaded it, and I saw someone propose a really interesting theory. What if this book is from beyond the ice wall? What if this originated from the lands that General Byrd was describing? Maybe that's the language that they speak there and it's too advanced for us to decipher. And that would explain all the odd-looking depictions of plants that actually look like something that you might find on Earth. Maybe that stuff only grows beyond the wall. What if this book was brought here by someone from those hidden lands and they accidentally left it behind? We know that they visit us. They knew all about our technological advancements and our thirst for war whenever they spoke to General Byrd. I know this theory will require a massive stretch of the imagination for a lot of people, but I think it's a really fascinating idea.
Look at this, y'all. Japanese researchers turned male catfish female with soy compounds. Now watch this.
Male catfish transformed into females thanks to the power of a soybean compound. But why, you might ask, would anyone want to do this? Well, it turns out that female catfish grow faster than males. So by making all catfish female, we can increase the efficiency of catfish production. So how exactly did these researchers manage to achieve this gender-bending feat? The answer lies in a tiny but powerful component of the soybean, genistein. A team of researchers in Japan embarked on a fascinating experiment. They exposed catfish to varying concentrations of genistein, tracking the effects with scientific precision. Their results were nothing short of astonishing. When the genistein concentration reached 400 micrograms per liter, the group of catfish became entirely female.
If soy could turn a male fish female, imagine what it's doing to your testosterone. Soy should not be consumed, period.
Did anyone else notice that that article that he was reading from at the beginning says, in shocking 2023 finding? But then right below that it says the article was published on June 3rd, 2021. I wonder what that's all about. Clearly though, they figured out that they can use this soybean compound to alter the genetic makeup of a fish. So what is it doing to all of our bodies when we're constantly shoveling soy products down our throats? I personally think they need to take soy off the market. It's horrible for men's health and you can barely stay away from the stuff. And if they're putting so much of it into the fish that it's turning all the fish into females, is it not at least plausible that it may be altering that fish in some way that's making it less healthy for us to consume? And are we not then in turn also ingesting all that soy compound ourselves? And I also can't help but wonder, since this is a naturally occurring substance that you can find in nature, though when used in large quantities you can achieve science fiction level results with this stuff, what else is out there that may have these types of effects on biological organisms if we just concentrated it? This one really gets your mind going. But guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. I hope this audio is not too terrible. I hope you all enjoyed the clips we watched together today. I'll be back soon with another video and hopefully with better audio. I hope you all come back to join me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my merch store at barry-stepp.com. And don't forget to leave a photo of your merch over in the Discord to get your photo in a video. But guys and gals, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one.